Hey guys, it's CrazyKnightHero here with another video, and in this video we're going to talk about and be a little bit more speculative and see what Bungie might do in their next April update. Now, a mystery that was never quite solved is the first time us Guardians witnessed Siva is actually a little update that happened right before Rise of Iron. People were getting the Trespasser too early and stuff like that, and then we went into the Saber Strike and we saw this little bit of Siva just thrown on to where you get this little charge thing from in the strike, and nobody really knew why it was there, but I think they might have been dropping hints. Maybe it was just a little leftover. I don't know how you could misplay something like this in like editing tools and whatnot, but it seems weird to me. Now, another thing they could have done is, remember that Rise of Iron mission where you pretty much do the same mechanics? You switch the red thing with the blue thing and then it like messes up Siva somehow. Maybe it was leftover because they did that or something like that, like they had used this thing before but maybe just forgot to clean it up or something like that. But what I think they might do in the April update, they might make a Siva-ified version of this strike, and then, of course, possibly bring back those two other raids we've been running. Now, before I go any further with this video, I got these ideas from a post on the forums by JVKB. I'll have a link down in the description of his original post. He talks about his theories on why they could bring back this strike, and, well, not bring back but revamp the strike, and his story implications and theories and whatnot. It's pretty cool, so you should check it out. Now, if we're just talking about content that could be dropped with this April update, if they brought back those two old raids, Crota's End and the Vault of Glass, that's pretty good content. If they made all those legendaries relevant again and brought back those exotics, the Necrochasm and the Vex Mythoclast, and if they revamped this strike too, that would be pretty good content for us to sink our teeth into. And also, they could bring back the Pocket Infinity and bring it back like a quest with how Thorn was. And in the post, it talks a little bit about that and how that might work. So yeah, pretty cool post. You should check it out again. And so yeah, if they brought back these things, that would be a pretty good size for content and stuff like that. So hopefully this is what goes down, but let's just dive deeper into it, shall we? Now, the story behind this could be that, you know, the Fallen have gotten Siva, and the reason why they sent the Saber in there the first place, this super mechanized, like, super upgraded shank, was to try and hack Rasputin and get, like, all of his power, missiles in the sky, totally destroy the city. Like, that was the reasoning. And with Siva, maybe they could resurrect the shank, because we saw that with Sepix. They could pretty much just bring anything back to life. Heck, even Tanax. But anyways, they could bring it back to life bigger and badder than ever, and maybe just try another crack at it and try to hack Rasputin and whatnot. Like, I don't know, it may just be a little bit repetitive if they do that. I'm sure they could spice it up a little bit more, but it's definitely in the realm of possibility. And if they did this, they could maybe build up the story in a way that we could finally, like, really learn what Rasputin is, because we know he's a war mind, but then in the Rise of Iron campaign, they said he was, like, almost physical, so that got a little bit confusing. Maybe just expand on Rasputin just a wee bit. That would be awesome, and, yeah, that would be super cool. But this is where things get confusing in my book, or at least, maybe I'm just not imaginative enough, but story-wise, I don't know how they could bring back Crota's End or Vault of Glass. Vault of Glass, maybe the Vex steal Siva and then resurrect Atheon. That would be pretty cool. But I'm just not... I don't know how they would bring back Crota's End. That might be a little bit confusing. Maybe just bring him back to life with Siva too, but then how would that work? But then he's like, we killed him in his dimension, so I'm pretty sure he's, I don't know, kind of finished. At least that's how the Hive work. But unless there's just some new guy in there, and yeah, it's confusing to me at least. Let me know down in the comments how you guys would bring back these old raids and whatnot. So Yeah. And I would love if these raids got brought back, don't get me wrong, but if they brought back Crota again somehow, that would make like all of the Taken King story seem less significant. And if they just keep continuing this trend of bringing back people to life with Siva, it's gonna get annoying, and then nothing might be permanent. So but let's try to end on a higher note here and discuss the things that might change if they were to revamp this strike and sort of the gameplay with it. So the strike starts off, you go and defend that war sat. That would probably be the same, but instead you'd be fighting splicers. You know how splicers work. They're a little bit different in their combat versus normal fallen, so that'd be a little bit more interesting. And then once you get into the cave system, perhaps throw a few enemies in there for fun. And when we get into the big room where you had to throw that grenade in the thing, perhaps you throw in a little bit of the raid mechanics in there, and just enemies come continuously. They don't overflow you or anything, but every once in a while a servitor would spawn, and it would be like one of the elements or whatever, but the element wouldn't really matter. You can kill them normally, and then they would drop a Siva charge, and then maybe you would throw 3 Siva charges in the part where you would normally throw a grenade. Interesting in my book. Then the strike would probably proceed normally, like you go through that chamber with the lightning and everything, so that would probably be the same. And then we come to one of the other rooms, and then maybe like Rasputin whips out a few turrets and starts spraying down some fallen to help you out and stuff. So maybe you could do something like that if they wanted to. And then we come to the boss battle. Now, an idea I have for this, the way it might be switched up, is whenever the boss, like, you know how the guy like switches the different elemental types of damage and his characteristics and stuff. Like, he starts off with solar damage, then he goes to void damage, and then arc damage, and each one kind of has its own playstyle. Like, arc is practically melee, void is like heavy machine guns, and then fire is like a sniper rifle. I would switch it up where when you damage him and he changes like phases and stuff, it can switch to a random one, so it's not always super predictable like how it is now. And I would just switch up the gameplay on each one. Like fire, instead of a sniper, I'd probably have like flamethrowers, and then Arc could use his guns, and it could shoot a little bit slower, but perhaps chain lightning between guardians, so you'd have to watch out for that. Then Void could be like a giant mortar like that one Cabal guy in that other strike. And if they wanted to put yet another layer on top of this boss battle, you could have it where the, you know how the environment changes, like the blast shields go up and stuff like that. You could just like make those less predictable as well, like a little bit more randomized. Or you could have it where every time where he changes like his weapon or like his phase per se, you could have it where he gets strengthened by Siva. He doesn't become like invincible like Tanix does, but then out of those little chambers, servitors spawn out again like before, and then you just kill those guys, throw the Siva charges at him that they drop, and then they weaken him so he's not as tough. Like, so when he's strengthened, he'd just have a lot more defenses, and it would just take a lot longer to kill him unless you throw those Siva charges at him real quick. So yeah, they could do that as well. But of course, that would be if they were to do any of this. I could be totally wrong. They could go a whole new other direction and do some other thing. But I don't know. These are my thoughts. I think it would be awesome. Tell me what you guys think down below. And this has been Crazy Knight Hero. Hope for the future, everybody. And I'll see you later.